Hi, I'm Buck, and we're back, and we are here to put the fun back into your dysfunctional life, our dysfunctional life. I am someone who is diagnosed as bipolar with high anxiety. I started with psychiatrists in fourth grade for obsessive compulsive disorder. Was with him for 2 years to tame it, and have been under some sort of care to present day. And I'm here with my friend Amy, who's a therapist.
Like Beck said, I'm Amy Bauer, and I'm a therapist with over 35 years of experience, and I'm winding down now, but I'm still have that kind of brain. So, and what was your most dysfunctional thing that happened to you this
This week. So I've been going on and on with this lawsuit that I had in New Jersey. And, I was going to have to like uh, do this conference and do this phone conference. And on May 28th, then I was going to have to go to the opposing doctor on June 14th. So I've just been like, so I made plans. I rented a hotel to go to New Jersey. And yesterday I got an email. It's an email of a letter from my lawyer and the explanation. And I had no idea what it meant. I had no idea because it had words like release
legally?
and not underinsured and all of these terms that I was like, I don't know what that means. So I called my lawyer, who I really like personally. I just wish he could have gone faster because this is 3 years. And he said, "Oh, you won a settlement." And I was,
Okay,
"Wow,
yeah,
really?" And he goes, "Yeah, what do you think it meant?" I said, "I
I
don't
didn't
under,
know.
I don't understand all this legal stuff, and I'm pretty good with that, but it's like I had no idea what you were saying." So anyway, he's a nice guy. We talked about he had a heart problem and had heart surgery, so we talked about that for about an hour. So
Yep,
and so I'm just glad it's over and I don't have to
me
go to
too.
New Jersey and I don't have to do this
Yay,
conference next week with a judge online. So
yay,
it's just, because I was like, I don't know what it was, a settlement uh, court date. So I would be in front of a judge and they would be able to question me and they would, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And so now it's done. So
yay!
that makes me
That
happy.
is so frustrating. Yes, that definitely is a load off.
Yeah.
That you don't. I mean, you might choose to come back and forth to New Jersey sometimes, but now you're not obligated.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, if I had a better car, I would.
yeah. I haven't been on jury. I was just thinking about being in courts, and I used to have to go to juvenile court for a while, which is its own version of hell, actually. But then I got called subpoenaed to go to jury duty, and they always make me go down to the Daily Center downtown Chicago. And so the first couple of times I did it, and then one time I got on the train 'cause there's nowhere to park down there. I'm on the train, and there's no one gets up, even though I was on a cane. I had a cane with me. No one stood up. So I grab onto this pole and I'm standing there with holding on this pole while the train is going. I'm going, this is going to be a long ride. And this girl stands up while the train is moving and says, "You can have my seat." And I go, I'm thinking, if I let go of this pole, I'm going to be on the ground. I
Yeah.
just know it. And she goes, "You can have my seat." Like, like she's all mad because I didn't just jump on it. So I let go of the pole and immediately fell on the ground. And so everybody helped me get up and get into the seat that the girl had vacated for me. And I said, "This is why you get up when somebody with a cane comes on."
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I don't go to. I sent a letter from my neurologist that says I can't do it because it's just if they would send me someplace like Skokie where I could like actually park in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Although now it's a moot point because I'm not even driving anymore.
Right.
But but they send me to the Daily Center. Like that's hard to navigate for anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's
Anyway, that's
downtown.
my
Yeah.
yeah
Every
yeah
time I had to get off when I lived in Chicago, when I had to get off downtown,
yeah.
I would just walk out and go,
Where the
am
hell?
I? Where am
Yeah,
I? And I,
yeah,
I wasn't familiar enough with the downtown to know really the landmark buildings. You know,
right.
all I could see was that stupid Trump thing,
Yeah.
which,
Oh, that's the worst.
yeah. But I mean, in New York, when I got out of the subway,
Yeah.
I could
You can
see
move away.
I could see the World Trade Center, and
Yeah.
I
That's
knew that was south. But then when it was
yeah.
gone,
And it's
I
like, where the
I
hell?
was like, I don't know where I am. I had to look for the Empire State Building, and now there's all these
Yeah.
really tall buildings. So, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well, I always orient myself to the lake because you kind of have an idea of where the lake is. So if I know where the lake is, then I can orient myself. But it is hard when you come up from underground and go and you're not familiar. It's like, where am I?
yeah, I know. And
Yeah.
Chicago's really, it's not really like New York. It's really spread
No.
out.
Yeah,
So,
it is
you
bigger,
can walk
much bigger.
blocks in Chicago and then realize you're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That's all.
you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I did that with a dental appointment I had. It was just, yeah, it was really awful.
Miles away. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was your dysfunction of the week, or is that it?
Mine was I found this mug at the Goodwill. When my son got married, we went to this restaurant and they had these really cool mugs. They're called hipster animals. So it's like they're anthropomorphized and animals like cats and whatever. And
Right.
so I found the thrift store and I was so excited and I brought it home and immediately dropped it and broke it.
Yeah.
So that's just how I roll. Like many things just didn't make it in the house. But I went on eBay and I found them for like much less. You can get them on Amazon, but you can find them much less on eBay. So I got a whole set now. So my
Okay.
dysfunction is like I have way too many mugs in this house.
Yeah, but you like, we talked
I
about,
really like.
yeah,
They're so cute. Yeah.
we talked about
Anyway.
this last week. I have my Bewitched mug.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and
That's great.
fortunately, I have not broken it yet. I'm always afraid I'm going to break it.
Yeah,
Even
I know.
in the cabinet,
Yeah,
it's in a special place.
right.
It's
I
not,
know. I finally put away my Harry Potter mug because I kept breaking them.
oh,
People give me them from Disney, and I'd break them, and so I finally just put it in the cabinet and said I'm not even going to use it because I know I'll break it eventually. So
okay.
any of my favorite mugs I don't use, which is kind of stupid. Anyway,
So I'm going to let you begin the topic today
okay, all right.
because it was your
So
idea.
I thought about this topic because I'm going to my 45th high school reunion on the 6th of June. Um, I know I found out like it's at the Knights of Columbus, and I made sure it was handicap accessible, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, but what I was thinking about was like, how did I see myself in high school, and like what kind of I always say I had fun in high school, and I did. I was in almost all the plays. I was not in the very first play of my freshman year, and I was not in the very last play of my senior year because of some issues with the new drama teacher.
Oh,
So, but I was very active, and I don't know why I was saying that. Just like I had fun. I had fun. I had a good time, and but that doesn't mean there weren't some awful things too, because I moved to Jefferson City in fifth grade, and so I always felt like the new girl at my grade school, and then we all went to junior high together. So, but I still didn't feel like completely in, you know.
yeah.
Uh, so by the time when I was a freshman, I still kind of didn't feel very good about myself and where I was at. So I started feeling much better about myself like my junior and senior year, but I just had a really hard time my freshman year.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
um,
I transferred. I felt like you did. But maybe even more so because I transferred from a Catholic school
right, right,
into, into sixth grade.
yeah.
So sixth
Yeah,
grade
we
is
feel
the
out of
last
water,
year of these people
right?
who have gone to this elementary school forever,
Yeah,
and it was Southwest. So all these people really had grown up together, and I was
yep,
the new kid. I came from a Catholic
yep.
school because the psychiatrist said to my mother, "You have to get him out of there. He cannot go to a Catholic school anymore." This
It's
is,
too anxiety
yeah.
provoking.
So plus my brother pushed a nun down the stairs. So That's pretty much a no-no. So
Yeah.
anyway, I felt like you did, except I didn't know any of these people. You know,
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know anybody
I didn't
either.
know anyone.
Well, in junior high, I did. By the time I was in junior high, I did.
And they
But
were like, "Where are you
yeah,
from?" And I was like,
yeah,
"Catholic school," and they were like, you know, because
yeah.
Catholics aren't very appreciated in Jeff City.
They,
So
they say, yeah,
um, then when I went to Simonson, I
culture shock.
didn't really know anyone, but it wasn't really that long. I don't know why. Uh,
Yeah,
before I had a table
yeah,
at the
right. Yeah, when
cafeteria.
you have people to sit with, yeah,
Yeah,
it's always
I
great.
had a table,
Yeah,
and I was invited to sit there. You know,
right.
and it was
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Glenn, Philip, Nicholas, like
Yeah.
uh,
Sam Trower, probably. No, maybe not.
Sam, not Sarah, uh, Jan, Jan,
Yeah,
Jan Harrelson, and
yeah,
the other Jan that played the bassoon,
yeah, yeah.
and a couple other girls. I don't remember who they were, um, but that was my table. And then
Right.
I kind of, but oh, I'm sorry to go on like this, but
Uh,
I knew people from when I went to West School in the
right.
kindergarten and first grade. And some people I had kept in touch with. So then there was like Sarah Weaver, and I was just like, wow, you're here. You're all grown up. She was my first
Yeah,
girlfriend. And,
yeah.
Tim Huffine and a couple of other people. And um, so I had this other group that kind of irritated the table group. So anyway, and then you go to an even bigger school, which was,
Yeah.
high school. And my year was the
Uh-huh.
first year we didn't go to freshman high.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That was it. So
yeah,
I never got to use the pool.
yeah. Because that year, yeah. Well, I don't think we did either because they made it so Simonson was eighth grade, and that what's now the Miller Performing Arts
Yeah,
Center was what we called it the ninth grade building, even though that's where the seventh graders went then.
yeah, yeah,
And I don't know what they do now, but not that
yeah.
anymore, obviously.
So
But I remember that I always thought you were really popular for some reason. Like I just remember that you were somebody I kind of was aware of, and I don't think you were aware of me for a while, but I kind of knew who you were. You
I
know,
knew, I knew it.
I had to go up to because I played the cello, and so I had to walk from the junior high building, and then the junior or the ninth grade building was at the bottom of the hill. You walk
Right,
up the hill to get to
right.
Simonson, and so I had to be up there once a day. So I kind of was more, kind of exposed
Yeah,
because I had to walk up there with another girl that played the violin.
yeah.
Usually, I walked up there.
I carried
Anyway,
I carried Robin's saxophone up the hill for
yeah,
her every day.
nice of you. Wow,
From the buses, I would carry it for her, and that was the
yeah, it's
big,
very
yeah.
risk of you.
It
Yeah,
was a good
yeah,
boyfriend. But yeah, you have to think in high school. What did you know? You don't really know anything. You're just trying
right.
to figure
You
stuff
do.
out, and it
Yeah,
is kind of a popularity kind of. You want to be accepted.
totally.
You want to be.
Yeah,
You want your name known. You want.
right.
Uh, you know.
Well, and you don't want people to pick on you.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I know.
for me, it was like a lot of like avoiding picking on, because I had a moment where I was a total mean girl. This is not even in high school yet, but when I first moved to Jeff City, Carol,
Yeah.
who she was like one of my very first people that knew me because she went to my church, and so she kind of adopted me. But I wasn't in her class in the fifth grade. I might have been in sixth grade. I can't remember, but in fifth grade, she was in my class, so I went in not knowing anybody. When I'd see her like in the cafeteria, and I would be like, "Please take care of me." I had a
Yeah.
very hard time that
Yeah.
first year, and faked sick some, and because I just didn't want to go because it just was like right at I'd hit puberty already. Some of the girls had, most of them had not. So I was bigger and taller than everybody. Now I'm shorter than everybody, still bigger, but just it was just a weird time in my life to move to a whole new location, and that's it's called latency age in their therapeutic terms, and that's the age before you hit puberty, and but you're bigger than your life narrative is sort of starting to
Right.
happen for you. So it's just a really hard time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
I
it
think,
was, and I by the time I was in sixth grade, I was much better. Oh, I was going to talk about being a mean girl. I was mean to Carol in sixth grade because she was more popular and people thought she was smarter, and so I was so jealous of her. So I was mean to her. I like would exclude her from things for a while until I guess her mom called my dad and said, "What's going on? Carol's really upset," and I was like, "Okay, I have to quit that."
I can't even imagine you
So
doing that.
I was mean. I was a mean girl.
I
Yeah,
can't.
I know.
You,
Well,
you've
the guilt was
you've
terrible.
shattered my opinion.
You're just, well, you didn't know me as somebody who would do that
Yeah.
because that was in sixth grade, and then I went, I'm never doing that again. And even if I feel terrible about myself, I'm not doing that. Although I kind of spread rumors about Allison, who ended up having to move. Remember,
Yeah, you told me.
Allison?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You
anyway,
were bad.
but I was just like so down on myself.
Yeah.
So once I felt a little better, then I wasn't so mean.
Well,
Hurt people.
I think that when you change schools, you find, for me, it was finding people who like what I like, which is music.
Right. Finding your
So I
niche. Yeah.
found Robin. So
Right.
Robin, instead of, we didn't like to go out on the playground. So instead of doing the playground, we would go to, they had a little theater basketball court, you know how the school was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Robin, there was an old piano, and Robin would play the piano, and she was trying to teach me the piano because Robin's really
Oh,
good on the piano. I was surprised
yeah.
Mr. Burkle never forced her to play. But
Yeah.
and I remember
He wanted people he could kind of mold
yeah.
good enough, but he also had a relationship with, and so there's a couple of people who played the piano much better than the people he had
Yeah.
accompanying, but
Yeah.
they weren't like moldable.
There's nobody better than Helen. But
Yeah, yeah,
um, so I found those people, and then Kathy Bushman came in. She came in one day
yeah,
as Robin and I were singing, and she sang with us. So then
yeah,
Kathy and I became friends, and then
yeah.
Kathy had
Makes
her own crew, Cheryl Ludy and Carol Barrows and Mitch. I don't know what his name was. He was very sexy, but he was like a really bad boy. And
oh,
yeah, and he, yeah, and then yeah, so
yeah,
yeah, so that's how I kind of got into
yeah.
it.
Got to know. Yeah, once you're in with people because that's the thing is you find your niche.
Yeah,
So I mean, I knew I was going to be in the orchestra because I played the cello, so got that. And I knew I could sing at the time, so I was in the choir section. And then I got in with the drama
yeah,
people, and I was really a floater, and I had some friends who were sort of outside of that world, and you know, I just there's everybody has their cliques, and then there's some kids that are sort of float
yeah,
between the
yeah,
cliques, and I'm a floater. My junior year, I had a study hall, and they had a split lunch study hall, which means that your lunch starts, you go to study hall, then you go to the last part of your lunch. It was so stupid. So nobody ever checked to see if I was in the library, so I just stayed in the cafeteria for those all three lunches.
yeah.
So I'd sit with my orchestra people at one and sit with my drama people, and then I'd sit with alternative. I mean, it just was.
Yeah.
I was just a floater, and I enjoyed that since I didn't really feel like I was queen bee of anything. So I just floated around.
Yeah, and it was eighth grade. It was Sarah Weaver. The
Yeah,
cheerleaders had to pick a guy to do cheers with. I have no idea what this was, but they had to have a guy. So, and she actually like piggybacked me in one of the
yeah,
routines. We had to come
yeah.
up with a routine.
Oh, yeah,
So she
yeah,
piggybacked me. And so it was like the football players and stuff, they watch this because these are their girlfriends and stuff like that.
right,
So I kind of became part of that, and then
yeah,
senior year, I became friends with a
yeah,
lot of, because I did wrestling.
You were definitely
So
a floater too.
I became friends with wrestlers and the wrestling cheerleader, Karen, I think her name was.
Yeah,
I
Karen.
dated
Yeah.
her for a while. But then my senior year, being on the voted to be on the box crew by the football players, that was really shocking. Actually, that was really
Yeah.
shocking.
Yeah.
So, but what do you think
Yeah.
when you're in high school? You're just trying to find an identity and find a niche and find a group, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you go to college, and it's
Yeah.
it's all
I
the only
totally went.
person, the only people that I knew were Neil
Yeah.
and
I bet.
Beth. Neil and
Yeah.
Beth, and then Neil left. So,
Yeah.
you know, um, was he even there, or did he leave?
No, I think he was there for at least a year. I know he was a year
Yeah, I
there
think he
with Beth.
left. I think he left.
He might have his
Yeah,
junior.
he
Yeah,
didn't.
after freshman
He
year.
didn't finish. So I
Yeah.
knew Beth, and Beth like didn't want anything to do with me.
Yeah. Well, she's always in her own world.
Yeah.
It was,
So
it wasn't an intentional slight. It's because she wasn't thinking about anything
yeah,
except her career
and
and where things were.
it's a small class. It's divided into,
Yeah.
but you're with these people like
All
literally
the time.
12 to 14 hours a day. You're with them,
Yeah. Yep.
and so you get to know them and all the little scandals that they do. And
Yeah. Yeah.
Ken sleeping with a
Yeah.
professor, and like it's just and
Yeah. That's a soap opera.
yeah, it is a soap opera, and
You know what? I like got out of all. I was so active in high school, and I figured I'd go to college and be active. And instead, I met this guy that I ended up dating, and he was sort of had been a bad boy in high school, but was still a really nice guy. But anyway, so then I started just hanging out with him and his friends, and they weren't into activities, and I didn't want to join a sorority because there weren't really any sororities at my school anyway. There were like music
yeah,
sororities, stuff like that. But I just didn't want to do it. So I became completely not, I had to be in the orchestra. That was part of my scholarship. And I was in choirs. I would sing in the
yeah,
choirs. But otherwise, like, I want to go just do fun
yeah,
things in my free time.
yeah.
So I didn't have that,
Well,
you
I
know?
mean, we had for a lot of us, St. Louis was, the first gay bars, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
and the big gay bar across the river was Faces, and there were some down in the Central West End, and so this was, and they didn't card anybody, and
right.
we just went, and nobody ever carded
Yeah,
us, and that was our first gay experience. So
yeah.
gay men went together to these bars and stuff like that.
Gave
So that was
news.
different.
Yeah,
Plus, we
yeah.
had I don't know if you did. Have you ever been to Webster?
I have been on I worked at St. Louis Opera Theater one
Oh,
summer. The one summer that when I would come home, they would I would find jobs, and that
oh,
was one that I had connections with, obviously, because Beth was dating the guy who was the head of the house. I'm pretty sure at the time during her freshman year in sophomore year. So she said, "Do you want to work there?" And I did. So I mean, it just was an usher, but it was really fun,
yeah,
and we would go get tattoos. So
yeah,
yeah, so I've been on the
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But across the street from the theater is a bar, and
yeah.
it's I think they took it away because it was where all the
Uh,
students would go and get drunk.
yeah.
After working crew or after rehearsing, we just all go get drunk. And the directors were
Yeah.
there and the professors were there and they were getting drunk. And it was,
Yeah.
I think they tore it
It was a
down.
beautiful getting drunk thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Got it.
that's really not good. Well, we should go on. We could talk about
Yeah.
Webster forever. So,
Yeah.
what did you want to
College too.
focus on?
When I wanted to, first of all, I wanted to say I actually really had a good time in high
Yeah,
school, but I had the worst time I had was, so I don't know if I talked about this before, but the drama teachers all through, for you and through your high school were the husband and wife
yeah,
team, and they did all the drama, the debate, the plays, all that stuff, and they were great. And then they left to go to law school,
yeah,
actually, and the new teachers, there was I was the president of the drama club, so I was gonna like I was going to have them over for lunch and kind of introduce them to our little traditions and all that kind of stuff. And the one lady was sort of like, okay, whatever. And the other lady was like, well, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Those people aren't here anymore. We're not going to do that. And it was like, oh, okay. So, and she hated me. So when I tried out for the operetta, because was I'm sure Burkle had picked it specifically for his voices,
Yeah.
so he knew he was casting. But they still allowed the drama people and Gensch, who was the head of the orchestra, to like have a say so in it. And she went into there and said, before you cast Amy Bauer, you need to know that she's in her church choir. She goes to she plays in the Jefferson City Symphony, and she's never available. And little did she know that Burkle was the head of both of those organizations. And what he said was, Miss Bauer is a very responsible student, and I'm sure that she can manage all of her activities and be in the operator at the same time. So if she was hoping to get me out of the operator, she clinched it.
That's funny. No, I mean,
hated me.
Katrina would go to the auditions.
Yeah,
Katrina would go and just give him advice. I don't think she told him.
Well, he kind of knew. I think he had.
She told me he scares her.
He's scary. He scared me too. He was scary. I loved him, but he was scary.
Yeah.
Because he was such a charismatic, powerful person. So, but you know what? He and Gensch always had my back, and actually Miss Mock too. Because she used to before Trinity came. Remember how she used to choreograph the operettas, like the chorus operator? They all looked like Jayette routines.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was all dancing from the waist up. So fortunately, by my senior year, I don't know if she did junior year, but we and Miss Sneed started to like choreograph, and it was so much better.
Yeah,
it was actually choreographed. Anyway, they all had my back.
Camelot,
they were all good.
Teresa was her helper.
Yeah.
She said to me, "Oh my God." She goes, "These are all like cheerleader routines. These are like..." So she had dances that she did to not fight with Dot, and I still love that story that Kathy told me about Dot.
Oh yeah, I think I was there that day.
Do you remember the story?
Yeah, I absolutely do. That we're at an away game. She was the head of the Jayettes. This huge. No one believes me when I show them the pictures. I'm like, no, we're talking 600 girls in this club at least, and so here's all these girls, and we're going to the bathroom, and I hear somebody go, "Miss Mock, there's no toilet paper," and I didn't have any either, but I was just like, I don't know, nobody probably has any. And I hear Dot Mock says, "Drip dye girls, we got it."
Drip dye girls, we got it. The bus is leaving.
A little Missouri thing. Drip dye girls, we got to go.
Drip dye girls, the bus is leaving.
The buses are leaving.
Yeah.
And I was like, Miss Mock, there's no toilet paper. It's like, get over yourselves.
Yeah. No, I mean, in high school, I guess I was popular.
You were popular.
People knew who I was, and a lot of it was due to the operettas or the musicals. Also I ran for junior president, and Sherry Snelling barely beat me, and then I ran for student council president, which I didn't make even the runoff. So I don't know.
I tried that a few times too, but I never got through either.
But I put myself out there. I was the singer for Homecoming, for I think the Sweetheart thing. I was, I was on the prom committee. I did it was good. And then
I was too, but I didn't think I was because I never got nominated for any of the courts, like the Homecoming court or anything. And now I know it's because I wasn't a girlfriend of any of the ball players, and those were the ones who nominated the people for the courts. And so if you weren't dating an athlete, you weren't getting on the court.
Right. No, that's really true. That's really true. So, or if you were nice, and obviously you weren't nice. So.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No, I learned my lesson. I was nice after that. So nicer.
I guess I was pretty mean to a few people. I know I was mean to somebody in freshman year of college, and I had to they made me apologize to her. So the assistant said, you know, you're in jeopardy here if you don't apologize.
Unless you are a nice
Yeah.
person.
So that really put me on a better track. And I was sad that I upset her. But she
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so
I understand.
annoying. She was so
Yeah,
annoying. So, you know, I should have just
yeah.
I
And
wrote her a
just,
note, a letter, and I should have just told her
yeah,
off to her face. So, but that was a mean thing. But you know,
yeah.
in conservatory, people are very mean to each other because they want to be.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
competition and
it's
yeah,
all
and
competition.
you're nervous all the time. I can't
And
imagine.
people say the
Yeah,
meanest things, you know, in
right,
public.
right.
In public. You know, when I
Yeah,
did You Can't Take It With You, you know, and I was Tony,
yeah,
the male lead, um,
yeah,
which is about a family that has, you know, their maid and their I don't know, delivery guy. I don't know what he
but
is. He's the
yeah,
boyfriend of the maid. They're black. They
yeah,
live with
yeah,
them. They live with
yeah,
them, you know, and they sit down to dinner with them. So it's like,
yeah.
and they pay them. So it's like that's one of the points of the, so one of the uh, black male students in my class
Uh,
stood up because you have critiques after the show finishes. And he
yeah,
said, I don't know why he always gets these parts. This is supposed to be a school where everybody gets a chance and blah blah blah. And you know, just because he said, just because he's cute and white, he gets more. And the director, who was a nun, director said,
yeah,
what do you think this show was about? You think you could have done this part? Has nothing to do with
yeah,
you being, she said, has nothing to do with you being black. It has all to do with your talent. And he
yeah.
just sat
Yep.
down, and she was
Yeah.
really angry. And he did this in
I
front
don't
of
blame her.
all the classes. This is
Yeah.
freshman, junior, sophomore, junior, senior, all the actors.
Yeah. It was uncalled
Yeah, and
for.
it was really, you know, so. Well, we are out of time. Sorry, we really got,
That's right.
we,
Yeah, we could talk about this
yeah,
forever.
we
Yeah.
really got talking. I don't think we actually got to our point.
Well, we can talk about it a little bit more next
Yeah,
time. We'll
we
see.
can. So I'm Buck,
And I'm Amy,
and we'll see you
and
next time.
enjoy dysfunctional life. All right.
Bye.
Bye.